I had to stage. All right. I am live by myself. No makeup, no nothing. Just doing my little thing today. I didn't sleep very good, but anyway, I just want to talk about something for a minute. I always say come in whenever you can. It's fine, whatever. But I saw something this morning and I just thought to myself, why does nobody talk about this? They never talk about it and I don't understand it. I just don't. I don't understand it at all. Let me see if I can get this to play a little bit. All right. It should go back and forth is what I understand. We'll see. Hang on, that's fine. We'll play with this for a minute. I don't know. That's not going to work. Let's see if this one is better. You just need a little bit of music back there because when you start showing other people's I don't even know what numbers. Okay, anyway, all right. So, let me go and grab this right quick. Let me pull this back up, and it's just horrific. Hang on a minute. Family ignores this. I mean, it's all over the United States. You see this. It is everywhere. And people don't even, it's like the other family members don't even notice. They're like, okay, well, whatever. Okay, sure, whatever. It shocks me to no ends. Okay, here we go. Okay. All right. Hope everybody had a good evening. I did not sleep very well, I can tell you that. Here we go. Let's put this on right here. Oh, goodness, my little eye's going to itch. Let me see if I can pull this up. Now I'm going to put this right here. Now, this is going to be, let me share my screen to show this real quick. Oops. Share your screen. This is going to be courtesy from ABC News, okay? But we're going to put it over here. I'm going to start it. And who is this guy? This is from Arizona. This is from Arizona. Whoops, where's the sound? Oh, click to unmute. All right. Now,
Involving two kids.
All right, we got some sound.
In horrible living conditions.
Now, this is out of Arizona. It's recent.
67th
Again,
Avenue and Bethany Home Road in Glendale.
Full credit
A shocking
to ABC
discovery
News.
involving a family with two kids.
Horrible living conditions, something that you wouldn't even wish on your worst enemy.
On Thursday, police responded to one of these apartment units for a welfare check. Inside, they described extremely unsanitary conditions. Widespread feces all over the floors, ceiling, and bedding where two children, just 4 and 6 years old, slept.
I'll never understand how people can do this to their damn children. How are you living like that? Let's see if we can get past this. I think this is a commercial, but I'm not sure. Let me check. Oh, no. Let's see.
Accusations to
here. There's another one about this. Horrific. 3 arrests. And listen to this. This is WTAJ. Here. Let me show you this one. Right here. And here. I hope this will. Here. It's right here. Not that. Stop. Look at, okay, let me get down here where I can show you this. I'll put it right here. All right, see this right here? Oh, I gotta share my screen again. Damn it. Come on, can't you get right? No, apparently not. This is in Pennsylvania. All right, let me show you this. Look at this right here. This was 3 adults living in this house, and these children were starving. And this happened up in Pennsylvania. Let me pull this back up over here so I can read it to you. Let me get my glasses. I don't understand, okay, because I know other family members know that this is going on, and they just turn a blind eye to it. They don't pay any attention. They don't try to help. They don't do anything. They just act like, oh, well, it doesn't matter. It's not my kid, so why should I care? That is what happens out here. So let me pull this story up out of Pennsylvania. Okay, let's see. 3 adults arrested after finding children living in just horrible conditions. Okay, here we go. Now, this was just a few days ago that this happened. Let me go find it. Make sure I've got the right news station, the right channel. It's right here, WFLA. This is WFLA. Oh, come on. Open up. My iPad's running just a little bit slow today, but anyway. Blair County, Pennsylvania, all right? Let me take this one off and change that because this is WFLA. We have to give full credit. Whoops, gotta spell it right. WFLA, and it is Channel 8 out of Pennsylvania. Now, I'm not going to say how long. I just saw this and I thought, oh my God, it's so disgusting. I don't even understand how in the world, this can happen. But apparently people are okay with it. Apparently family members are okay with it. They just ignore it. So this is Blair County. 3 people were charged and jailed after a young child was found wandering the streets in Freedom Township. Zoe Elise Zangali and Dominic Andrew Zangali, both 31, along with an 18-year-old Gillian Byrne, have been charged with child abuse and animal abuse after a neighbor in East Freedom called the police. Not only children, but now animals as well. According to the criminal complaints, Freedom Township Police were called to Cream Hollow Road and Hoots Drive in East Freedom Friday evening, July the 18th, after a witness saw this child walking his dog and found this child out in the street wandering around homeless. Without shoes on and no shoes, all of that. Let me turn this Bluetooth off over here. Oh, it is off over there. Okay, I want to make sure it's not over here messing up what I'm doing and just taking my sound to another. It's a constant. Okay, it's working. We're good. All right. We're good. All right. Pull it back up over here. All right. Don't unplug. So this neighbor sees this child wandering around with no shoes on. So according to the criminal complaints, Freedom Township Police were called to Cream Hollow Road and Hoots Drive in East Freedom. The child was seen wandering the streets shoeless. The child was found without shoes and covered in urine. The witness told police once called. Police investigated and found that multiple children were living in deplorable conditions in a nearby home. Nobody saw the child go outside? Are you kidding me? According to the police, the 5 children ages 2 to 7 were zip-tied to cages, okay, and confined up to 20 hours a day. Charging documents show that there was even a routine. After each meal, the children would allegedly be placed back in their enclosures. In addition to the described horrific conditions, police said that various pets were in the home and neglected. Police noticed they found doorknobs removed and gates tied shut so the children could not get out. According to the complaint, there was no running water in the home and animal feces were found all over the living areas. Of course it was. Of course it was. One child was transferred to UP. I'm sorry, hang on. It was noted that in the court documents, one officer brought all of the children Happy Meals from McDonald's as they appeared to be aggressively eating out of hunger. These children were starving. This is America. This is America. Okay? It was also noted that the child found wandering the streets allegedly tried to dig out of their room through the walls before getting out the window. Little baby hands digging at the sheetrock walls to get the hell out. Think about this. And nobody ever noticed this before? Nobody? Nobody. Wow. No other family members. No grandma. No, nobody. Blair County District Attorney Pete Weeks provided the following statement regarding the situation. We're very grateful to the police and the first responders. Let me unplug this. Okay. And the first responders who called in the assistance of the children. Hang on. Youth and families, certainly everyone is presumed innocent until proven guilty, but we take these charges very seriously at the district attorney's office, and we look forward to continuing to work with the police and other first responders and CYF to fully prosecute these 3 individuals. The Zangalis were placed in Blair County Prison with a bail at $150,000, and Bean was placed in Blair County Prison with a $75,000 bond. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? That is in America. It's right here. Where was Grandma? Where was Grandpa? Where's all these other family members? Did they not know these children over here living like this? How could they not know? This is my question. That is my question today. How in the world? Let me turn my light on. It's a little bit dark. Hang on. I'll turn my light. I'm upstairs in my little room. I'm working on it though. All right. Whoops, wrong one. I'm working on my little room, getting reorganized. I'm buying me a little couch to put up here and all that. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun little room. So how in the world does this happen? How in the world do we have children living in cages, starving to death in the United States of America, and family members don't know shit about it. You got to be kidding me, because I don't believe that. I believe somebody knew something wasn't right. This child, we're not in school. The children aren't in school. I mean, come on, people. No, I don't believe this at all. Let me go find another one of these, because you would not believe how many there are. It is just. Let's listen to this. Now, this is going to be from Child Poverty. This is from the Annie E. Casey Foundation. All right. So hang on a second. Let me put the right thing down here. Full credit to Annie E. Casey Foundation. All right. Put this up here. Let me show this. Now, let me take this dot off right here. You know, I'm so afraid of getting strikes. It's just awful. I know it is. I'm sorry, guys. But once it happens to you, you'll understand. Okay, so now let me go over here. I should have just pre-recorded this. I thought about doing that, but I don't know. Anyway, let's go find this, what I want to talk about over here. Annie E. Casey Foundation. Here we go. Now, this is the Annie E. Casey Foundation. And their big ideas are building a brighter future for America's children, youth, and families. I'm going to tell you how this started, where it came from, and why. Because the main thing that they care about is what children and young people need to thrive, and they have some success stories and everything that happened from their involvement with these children. It is unimaginable that the poverty rates for children remain high in 2023. At least, listen to this, guys. 10 million children living in poverty here in the United States. 10 million. Okay? Think about that for a second. Just think about that. Now, let me go back over here on this one. I mean, I don't understand it. I really don't. So, I'm going to go over here. And I mean, this is from 15 hours ago. 15 hours ago, there's another one. Glendale Police Detail. Hang on. I don't want to. Nuh-uh. Well, I guess this is from 15 hours ago, and it's going to be this Arizona Family 3 TV. So let's pull this one back up. Hang on. I have to go over here. Just a minute. Let's see. I'm going to have to pull this one off of YouTube, but it is on a news station. So hang on, guys, while we get this together. YouTube, and it's going to be these children living in this. I don't even understand. I just don't understand. Here we go. Make this big. Here we go. Now, we're going to give full credit to Arizona's Family 3 TV CBS. So let me put over here. Okay, let me share my screen. This was just 15 hours ago. It is every time you turn around, you're seeing these horrific things happening with these children. So let me give my full credit to, okay, hang on. I got to change this, full credit to Arizona Family. Oops, you got to spell it right. Is it TV? Arizona Family 3 TV. Okay, 3 TV. All right. Well, stupid. All right, let me fix this part. Whoops. Come on. Sorry. What the hell happened to this? Okay, it's giving me hell. Arizona Family. Like I can't fucking spell. Oh, sorry, said a better word. Family TV 3. All right. From 15 hours ago, this story came out, and I mean, it's every day, every hour, some child is found in horrific conditions in the United States of America. We're supposed to be the greatest nation, and here we are still living like this with children. I don't understand it, and I never will. So let's give them full credit while we play their story. All right, let's show this right here. I'm going to get this started. Just bear with me for a second. I need to make it bigger so y'all can actually see it. Whoops. Come on. All right.
Sent to us by a neighbor shows apartment 122 near 67th Avenue and Bethany Home Road in Glendale with boarded up windows. The front door plastered with official documents, including an eviction notice.
I did smell a lot of bad smells from the apartment.
That's what a neighbor who did not want to talk on camera says he noticed was off about the unit. But he never imagined that inside it would be as bad as police described.
These children were living in deplorable conditions that were basically, they were treated like animals.
The pictures from inside are blurred due to how disturbing they are. Human waste smeared all over the floor, walls, and bedding, and an insect infestation. Police found 2 children, ages 4 and 6, locked in this room with a gate secured with zip ties after a person outside noticed a naked boy.
Do you see that right there? Do you see that? Again, we have that the same thing, using zip ties, locking these children in these rooms, that nobody's taking care of them. The house is infested with bugs and feces all over the damn place. Now, I don't understand it. I don't understand it. What the hell is going on here? Let's see. Oh. Where is he? Yum. Hang on a minute. Sorry, guys. My son just texted me. Hang on a second. I need to make sure that while we're talking about this, that we're not having an issue over here with our sound, etc. Because, sometimes we turn it on, we think we can hear, but we really can't. All of a sudden it starts going crazy on us. But anyway. All right, hang on just a second, guys. There's so many bad stories going on right now. It's just terrible, just terrible. I mean, it's like, it's as if, this is another one of these stories. How in the world did nobody know this is happening? I don't get it. No, you can hear just fine. Good. Okay, good. I just need to make sure my sound was working. Yeah. Oh, my son's in Waco. All right. Let my son. Yeah, you see my son Ryan. He's over in Waco today, and so he's sending me, Mom, look what I have. I'm like, jealous. So there we go. Letting him know I'm on my live show. All right. Oh, and by the way, I talked about this a little bit sometimes, but worldswave.com is the official sponsor for this channel, and Little Red and Sprinkle. That is our official sponsor. Well, we had some information coming in from another case where we did some FOIAs. Well, I've been notified that the FOIAs have been completed and they're going to be mailed out soon. So I'm very, very excited about getting it. I just wanted to bring that up real quick. But anyway, so every day we have this situation with children being put in these cages like this. I want to take this off for a second, but I have to put it back on. I don't want to get a copyright strike. But look at this. Zip tied with a metal gate on as the door. This is the door. This is the door. Isn't that disgusting? All right, let's go back up here. We'll keep letting it play. I don't understand.
Boy by the window and called police last week.
Wow.
The parents, Arthur Jackson Jr. and Sarah Jackson, are now facing child abuse charges.
I'm going to let that sit there right there for a minute. They look like they're eating pretty darn good, aren't they? They're not starving, are they? Damn, how lazy can you be?
Charges.
I was kind of odd that I never saw a kid outside playing.
He says the Jacksons didn't like when he pointed out their mess and never approached them again.
Nothing I could do.
That's the train of thought that Virginia Bagby with the nonprofit Child Help says a lot of people have when it comes to reporting potential child abuse or neglect.
And I would say to them, like, if you don't speak up, who will? Right?
She says some obvious signs something is wrong are bruises, burns, and bleeding. But a red flag people often miss is a child's behavior.
We're noticing a child become aggressive.
Look what happened with Jack and Lily. Look at those two. Lily was pulling out her own hair. That's how much stress she was living with in that house. Jack, look at poor little Jack. Every time you turn around, that child had black eye, bruises, oh my God. I don't know if we're going to be able to see these children. These children have not been shown, but due to the living conditions that they're living in, you can just almost guess what they look like. Probably not potty trained correctly, probably just not bathed, no care at all about these children. Here, let's keep going.
And they weren't, previously. We noticed a child withdrawing when they used to be social.
In this case, the parents told police their kids had not gone to school or a doctor since they were born. Bagby says that's another reason the neglect and abuse may have been concealed for so long.
The children are now in the care of the Department of Child Safety, and you can call or text the Child Help's 24/7 hotline number on your screen to talk with a counselor about resources if you are a parent in need of help.
It's over and over and over. You're going to see these things over and over, I'm going to go find another one. It's everywhere you look, everywhere you turn. It could be next door to you and you wouldn't even notice. People don't notice anymore what's going on with people around them. Let's go back to YouTube and see what else we can find. So that one in Arizona was 15 hours ago. Now let's see. Children living in horrific conditions. That's what we're looking for. All right. Hang on. Look at this one. Now, this is 9 years ago, but look at it. Here's another one, 11 years ago. And it is on and on. 7 years ago. House of Horror 9 months ago. We'll watch this one for a second. And this is going to be full credit to police release. All right? Here we go. I got to share my screen. Sorry. All right. Oh, I forgot to hit play. Duh, stupid. I'm sorry,
I'm gonna
guys.
be honest with you. I'm gonna be honest with you. That's the worst house that day. That was the worst house I ever walked into. It's a little
On
cleaner
December
now.
21st, 2023, officers were dispatched to a residence where 6 children lived, following the findings of an investigation. Upon arrival, the home was found to be in hazardous condition. There was a significant accumulation of trash and rotting food throughout the residence, with a strong odor of animal urine and feces present. Multiple animals were living inside the home, contributing to unsanitary conditions. The floors were covered in debris, and there were no clean or safe sleeping areas for the children. Due to the unsafe and uninhabitable environment, child welfare authorities made the decision to remove all 6.
No clean place for them to sleep. Well, of course not, because you're neglecting them in every way you can. You got to wonder, where was she sleeping? There are so many stories where the parents just don't even live in the same household that these children are left in. Look at the little child who was left there while the mother went on vacation, and the child starved to death. And there was people next door. What in the hell is happening here?
Children from the home.
Makes me sick. Some water.
What's that? No, you're good.
Come on. I can't come inside, so you need to bring the kids to the door.
Guys, come here.
I need you to get their coats, get their dressed in their coats.
Maybe put that dog up first so he doesn't run outside, dear.
Come. I need you to come. You smell in the side? Come. You need to come this way.
Come on, buddy.
Zip up your coat. Come. Zip up. You have to go to the hospital. I have to take all of y'all to the hospital.
Just gotta get you guys checked out. Make sure everybody's okay.
I should, but they told me that the warden says it's not safe for us to go inside. Because my supervisor got sick yesterday.
Turn on the, so you can actually read it if you can't hear. But, I mean, a lot of it's blurred out, you know why,
Court is tomorrow. Come on, Louie. I need you to come and help get the children in the car, Kim.
Okay.
Where's the baby? I need the baby to
Oh my God, it's baby. I mean,
I need you
it's
to
everywhere.
get her
Every time I turn around.
something on her.
You don't have a mask or anything, do you?
I do. I'm gonna get you one.
Thank you.
I'm gonna get one.
Yep. Thank you.
I'm so sorry.
I mean, excessive trash. This is what it says, guys.
Where's your other child
Excessive
at,
trash, animal waste, unsanitary living space due to unsafe environment, all were removed.
And you guys are doing this while their dad's not here. Again.
Okay.
Well, you know what?
Come on
Here's
out,
the
buddy.
thing. Whether the dad is there or not, it makes no difference. Those children are being neglected and not taken care of. What is your excuse? I'm not even calling her a woman. I'm just going to call her a piece of shit. What is her excuse? What is her excuse?
Bottle, please. So I gotta.
I wouldn't even take a bottle from that
Hey,
house.
do you still need me over here, dear?
God almighty.
No, I mean, you're all right. She's fine.
Okay.
I'm all right.
All right, I'm gonna head out then.
Let's go to the next one.
Approximately
because it's
1
over
month
and
after
over.
the children were removed from the home, authorities gathered sufficient evidence to obtain arrest warrants for both parents.
Thank God. Thank God they were arrested. Can you imagine what that house smelled like in there? I can imagine it was the most horrific thing you've ever smelled. Got my big fat pencil today. Well, these parents get a big fat F for them. F for
Yeah,
them.
she's in here. Tiger police!
Yeah. Go ahead and take them in. Wow.
Come to the
Let's go
front
to the
door.
next one. Let's just go to the next one, because I'm telling you, it is over and over. Look at this one. Hang on a second.
Bill, on July 10th,
2 weeks ago. This
2023,
is 2 weeks
officers
ago,
made
right
contact
here
with a
from
woman
Police
after concern.
Watch. Here we go.
On July 10th,
2 weeks ago.
2023, officers made
was
contact with
played.
a woman after concerns were raised about a 3-year-old child in her care.
Hello.
Hey, is that your kid?
No, man. Oh, hey. Man. No, oh, that's it right here.
Hey, is he okay? Can you put him down?
Yeah. Abusive right in
Okay,
front
put
of the
him down,
police.
put him
Abuse
down.
right there.
Damn. No, man. Here.
We're waiting for the boss.
No. It was Skittles.
Where does he live?
No.
Hey, put him down so I can
Oh
see
my
him.
goodness.
No, that's it. No, Skittles.
Put him down.
What put him down?
Poor baby.
No.
No shoes. You can see the child has on no shoes.
I would have never done this if I would have never been concerned. There's no way. Look at the heat out here. He's dehydrated.
Where do you see? Let's read it a little bit. All right. On this one, hang on a second, guys. On July the 10th, 2023, police responded to a call concerning a 3-year-old child who appeared in bad condition. An open beer can was nearby, and the woman admitted she'd been drinking. Further investigation revealed a prior child neglect case, an active warrant, and existing restraining order involving this child. The body camera footage shows what happens next. Let's watch. Let's see what happens next. He had already been faked.
No, I gave him some juice, water, all that.
Where are you living right now?
No, we're here.
Where are you living right now? Put him down so fire rescue can see him. I'm not going to repeat myself with you.
Put him down.
You can hear it, so you can see.
Let fire rescue take a look at him.
Yeah, they're ready to wake up. They're ready to wake up.
Hey, this is my.
Oh my God. Are you telling me that child is not non-responsive?
Does he suffer from anything?
No.
Oh wow.
No, I gave him juice. I mean, this is.
Oh my God, you piece of shit.
That's the sugar, huh? I gave him all that. We'll do it. Come on.
Did he just nap it or something?
No, he's non-responsive. Please, take that child. Did he drink beer
What's
too?
your relationship to him?
We be like friends.
You guys are friends.
Not even their child.
Okay, sir, can I speak to you over here while they're looking at him?
No problem.
Is this your kid?
Oh my goodness.
Well,
Yes or no? Is it your kid?
Friend.
he was born
Is
from
it your
this
kid?
thing, but I take care of him.
Are
so.
you his father? Yes or no?
Father is the one in grace.
These two people are not even related to this child. Where is the mother? How did this child get in the care and custody of these two pieces of shits? Unbelievable.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay, are you his biological father? Yes or no?
Oh, there's something you have to ask her.
Okay, where do you
You
live?
have to ask her?
Doing
Okay.
something. She was talking a little bit to Robert and said, "What this guy? It be
Oh
like
my
that.
God.
He's teaching this man." And I got some more money, so to get something.
And you're not homeless.
No.
Well, you can't give me an address. And you're sitting here on a bench.
No,
No, you can't give me
the
a...
one you can find me, and then I give it the second one. What I can.
All right, sir. All right, give me a minute.
Yeah, vitals. I mean, well, we can check what's good as far as vitals.
You don't think he's dehydrated or anything like that?
Doesn't seem like it. I mean, out from what
Let's just go on to the next one. I mean, clearly this is a problem. Let's go to the next one because there are so many of them. Hang on, guys. Let's just
On
go
July
look. Let's see. Not that one.
And
Let's just go find another. 2 months ago. Here we go. 2 months ago.
And our other top story tonight.
Oakland County mom arrested after three children found living in horrific conditions. And this is going to be full credit to local Channel 4. Click on Detroit. Here we go. Now let me start it. Another
At
one.
5 for the second time in less than a year, a Pontiac mother has been charged in a horrifying case of child abuse. This is a completely different case than the one we've covered from February of this year.
31-year-old Terry Omas Johnson is charged with leaving her 3 children unattended in an apartment that didn't have working plumbing. Let's get out to Pamela Osborne live tonight. Pam, the sheriff's office calling this heartbreaking.
Oh, where am I?
Absolutely, Kimberly and Ty. There was a 12-year-old girl. She was living in one of those apartments there. She was home alone with her 2 younger siblings. She had actually reached out fearing that there had been some sort of break-in in the apartment. When those sheriff's deputies got here, they discovered something far worse.
It's just disturbing and disgusting on every level.
We can't even show you some of the evidence photos taken at this apartment on South Francis and Chandler Street in Pontiac. Oakland County Sheriff Michael Bouchard says deputies who were called here Friday discovered 3 children, ages 12 and 9, alone and in desperate need of help.
They looked in the door and they could see the
A 12-year-old babysitting the 9 and the 3-year-old. How inappropriate is that? Where's the parents and why is this house like this? Let me tell you something. Cleaning the house is one of the most inexpensive things you can do. I kind of talked about this before and people are like, what? But I'm going to tell you something. You can take, and once again, I know you're going to go baking soda again, but yes, you can take baking soda and water, vinegar and water, lemon and water, and clean a house. You don't have to have expensive chemicals to keep your house clean. You don't have to have expensive things for dust. You can use anything to dust your furniture. If you have to do that floor with your hand, it's okay. Get down there and clean that floor. There's no reason for children to live like this. I don't understand why people don't keep their house clean.
deplorable conditions these kids were in.
It's hard to imagine 3 kids left alone in this with 3 cats, rotten food, nowhere.
Rotten food. Look at this, guys. Look at that picture.
Working plumbing and
No
feces
working plumbing.
everywhere. This,
You know what? That's a constant. That's a constant. It's like in these homes that are this bad, it's always no working water, CPS has been involved, and look at the mother. She's eating pretty darn good, isn't she?
is their mother, 31-year-old Terry Omas Tremise Johnson. The children told deputies they hadn't seen her since the day before.
Apparently it was not.
Another case of the parent just leaving the kids unattended at home and a 12-year-old in charge of all of them. I hope those children are taken away from her and they get a good home. This is ridiculous. I know there's laws against
Unusual for her to leave, sometimes for days at a time.
When they made contact with her, she was in Ann Arbor. She showed up 3 hours later and was taken into
3 hours
custody.
away.
Neighbors were shocked.
I feel like they should just keep her in there. Don't give her a bond out, because that's terrible how you treat them kids, leaving them there. Who knows for how long and something could have happened, and
As it turns out, bond was denied Wednesday after Johnson threw her chair and cussed at the magistrate.
Apparently she didn't like the proceedings. She didn't like being held accountable. She didn't like the bond amount. And so she started to, have an outburst, try to throw a chair, and the magistrate didn't take well to that and removed her bond.
And if there is any bit of good news here, it's that these children have been placed with relatives. Their emotional needs are being addressed.
Okay, once again, let me ask you a question. They've been in now in the custody of relatives. Where were those relatives? And you're going to sit here and tell me the relatives had no idea that she was leaving them at home for days at a time. The 12-year-old was old enough to call somebody or tell somebody how they were being treated. How in the world are no grandparents, no brothers? How does nobody know? How does nobody know? Please help me answer this question.
As a result of this, as for that mother, she is facing 3 felony child abuse charges. We're live in Pontiac tonight. I'm Pamela
Let's go to the next one. Yeah,
Local 4.
Let's just go to the next one. All right. 4 months ago. Okay, listen to this one. 4 months ago.
This is a really tough story because you're looking at the living conditions.
This is from Law and Crime.
That police say 6 children, including a 2-month-old baby, were living in, locked inside a storage unit. Their parents were found asleep inside their car outside the unit, and now they are facing serious charges. Just how much this couple was reportedly getting in Social Security benefits and what the mom had to say for herself in an emotional court hearing. We're on the case.
Social Security benefits for 6 kids? Is that what he's fixing to tell us? And you can't afford to take care of them? Oh, Lord have mercy. Their family members knew they were living in this storage shed. Here we go.
Presented by Law and Crime, I'm Chris Stewart.
Thank you, Chris Stewart. We appreciate it.
It is not easy to see the images I'm about to show you. Images of a storage unit that police say 6 children, including a baby, were living in for weeks. Police were called to this storage complex around 1:30 in the morning last week, Tuesday, September 16th. Someone had heard the sound of a child crying from one of the units. Now, Milwaukee police said when they opened the door to the storage unit, they found children living in this.
I can't make it.
And the ages of those children, 9, 7, 5, 3, 2, and a baby just 2 months old. Now, police say the smell was, quote, putrid. And you can see in this picture, there's a sectional couch, a mattress, some blankets, no sheets. Police say the only light was what could creep through the gaps in the door. There was no running water, no electricity, no way to call for help if there was a problem, which just brings me back to thinking of that 2-month-old child. Now, this is the other picture that police have put out of a bucket that was in the middle of that storage unit.
That's the potty
bucket. That's
bucket.
what these 6 children were reportedly using to go to the bathroom. Police then started searching for the people who locked these children in the storage unit, a place that's meant to keep belongings safe, not a place for human beings, let alone children, to sleep. And outside, they found a Ford Expedition, and inside of it, sleeping with their dog, police say was the mom and dad to these.
So the mom, dad, and the dog were sleeping in the comfortable vehicle, probably with air conditioner heating, whichever one was appropriate. But these poor children were just locked in a storage room with no light and a damn bucket. Ugh.
6 kids, 33-year-old Charles DePriest and 26-year-old Azia Zielinski. A criminal complaint reviewed by WISN TV. Frankly, it just breaks your heart with what these children have reportedly told investigators. Here's what it says. The 5-year-old told police that the children were told not to be loud when they were in the unit. The 9-year-old said it was his job to take care of his 5 siblings and that he was hungry. He said that his parents drank.
9 years old, taking care of 5 siblings. One is 2 months old. And that child does not know how to. Unbelievable. What in the hell?
And when they were drunk, it was his job to look after everyone. Another child said that she was upset that the dog got to sleep in the car while she and her siblings were locked inside the unit. Prosecutors would later note how much space there was in the car where even a child could have fit in there instead of being allegedly locked in a storage unit. Not that it would have made it much better or that would be a proper place for a child to sleep. Now, one child, when asked how she felt when the storage unit was locked, said she was, quote, sad. The 9-year-old also reportedly said he and the other children would receive, quote, whoopings from their dad, DePriest. Now, these parents reportedly told police that their children had been sleeping inside this unit for the past 6 weeks. The dad said the kids were sleeping there 3 times a week, and he did admit that they could have found a place with family or friends for these children to go to, but instead they allegedly decided that the storage unit is what they were going to do. Now, on top of the dirty and potentially dangerous conditions.
It's unbelievable. It really is. 6 weeks? Unbelievable. Let me check something out. I don't understand. I just don't understand. If they have money, but they're drinking, because that's more important than taking care of these kids and finding proper housing for these kids to live in. And I don't blame that child. Upset because the dog got to sleep in the car. The dog got to sleep in the car, and they did not. Oh my God. Let me check something right quick, y'all. Make sure this does. For some reason, it looks like it might be going in and out. I need to check it. Hang on. Just hang on a second. Making sure we don't have a problem over here. Oops. Hang on. Let me go check this over here. I'm just shocked. Well, I shouldn't be shocked because look what people do. Look what people do. Okay, let's make sure we're not having an issue. Well, I shouldn't be shocked because look what people do. Here we go. Look what people do. All right. I just make sure my live show is showing okay, because the other day I didn't even notice this because I didn't know. But the other day when I was doing my live, the one that I got 2 strikes on, but I won both of my strike disputes on, I did not realize that it had stopped showing. I did not know. So like 30 minutes of it was just missing. But anyway, let's go back and listen to this. Again, thank you. Full credit to On
that
the
the
Case
children
Law
were
and
living
Crime.
in. Police say they also found a loaded gun
Crazy.
in the center console of the SUV that Charles and Azia were sleeping in. Now, Azia claimed that the gun was hers, but Charles had touched it. Both parents are facing 6 counts of child neglect, but Charles is also facing an additional count of illegal possession of a firearm by a felon. Now, we found...
See, I knew that was going to be the next statement, because when she's claiming the gun is hers, but he touched it, I knew it was going to be he wasn't allowed to have that gun because he's a felon. Oh, geez. It just gets worse.
In court records that in 2010, Charles was convicted of third-degree sexual assault in Milwaukee County in Wisconsin, which is north of Milwaukee. Right now, all the children are in the custody of Child Protective Services. DePriest and Zielinski, they are facing those serious charges. And here is part of what the mom's initial court appearance was like per WISN.
Wow.
We have your children stating that they had no food, that the only food they found was from the garbage.
Wait a minute.
She was very emotional in that appearance.
She gonna sit there and cry because the children are telling the truth that they had no food. They were getting food out of the damn garbage, and she's gonna sit there and cry, knowing that she was getting Social Security checks to take care of those babies with. I want to know how much money she was getting and wasting. Oh my God. Yeah, I'm getting upset. You bet I am.
Some strong and frankly honest words from the prosecutor. She and DePriest have said that they were homeless, that they were forced to live in these conditions because they were kicked out of a shelter in Milwaukee. But that shelter is pushing back on those claims. I'll get to that in just a moment. We did find that Zielinski was actually still very much active on social media, so she had access to a phone while being homeless. Here's a post that she put up on September 5th, marking that she was 1 month postpartum. Now, it's unclear how long DePriest and Zielinski and those children had been considered homeless. Prosecutors say this couple receives about $2,000 a month in Social Security benefits.
$2,000 a month in Social Security benefit, and your children are hungry, eating out of the trash, and sleeping in a damn storeroom. What in the hell is wrong with you? Look at those two. Think about this.
The couple also claimed, again, that they were kicked out of a shelter in Milwaukee. But that organization...
How are they living in a shelter if they have $2,000 a month in Social Security benefits coming in? Because I don't believe you could live in the shelter and have that kind of income. But I could be wrong. I'm not sure.
Told WTMJ TV that they verified that there was permanent housing secured for this family when they left the shelter. But now they're learning that the family never actually went to that housing. So they are disputing the claim that this family was kicked out of the shelter and the claim that this family had nowhere to go. They also said that there were several families that were helping this family and their kids. The Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel report.
Okay, think about this. They're getting $2,000 a month in Social Security. They had secured housing for them when they left the shelter, but they did not go. Instead of using the money to pay rent on this home, they just found it cheaper to get them a little, $100 a month storeroom, I guess, and put the kids in there, and then live in the car with the dog while they're drinking up the money. What the hell? I hope they get put in jail and they don't get out. But we all know they will get out because what happens? They go to jail, they get out, they do a little work with the social services, and they give the kids right back to them, and the cycle just keeps on repeating itself.
Reports that the priest is a registered sex offender and that may have created a barrier for the family to stay in certain shelters. In putting this story together, we were working.
He's a registered sex offender, and he's over there with those children. God.
Learn more information about this couple and about where they may have lived in the past as we try to piece together the story of how they eventually made it to allegedly having their kids in this storage unit in Milwaukee. Now, we did find that they had an old address listed on truthfinder.com, but again, it's unclear when they left that address and what circumstances led to them allegedly being homeless. At Law and Crime, we partner with Truthfinder, and we use it to get details.
Let's go find the next one because I'm telling you there's another one. Here we go. Let's see. Let's find another one that's 1 year ago, 15 years ago, 6 days ago. 6 days ago. Hero Kid saves mom. Okay, now he saved. Oh, look at this one. 6 years ago. Look, 2 years ago. There's so many of them. Come on now. This was 11 months ago. Michigan kids abandoned. These children were just abandoned.
Very, very tough.
Remember this one?
It was very, very tough, both physically to go into this apartment here where these 3 kids lived for nearly 5 years. They're just deplorable conditions. Feces all over the place. Garbage piled high. The toilets overrunning. It's just disgusting even thinking about it. And just the fact that someone had to go in there and clean it. It's the emotional toll. But let me introduce you to Kiara Mills and her North Cleaning Service and how she was the one that went in there. Take a look.
As I was walking down the crazy stairs with all the feces, like going to the basement, it was makeup smear. I had to stop, and I was looking, and then I looked around, and I'm like I visualized whoever, it was the kid that did that. They were screaming for help.
32-year-old Kiara Mills, who owns North Cleaning Service, had to clean this Pontiac apartment in which 3 kids lived in for nearly 5 years with no parental supervision, barely enough food, and whose mother is now facing child abuse charges. You knew what you were getting into. I mean, this was a bad house.
This bad? That's not even the word.
Kiara remembers last Saturday when she got the call to clean the place.
Look at the staircase.
So
look at
all
that.
night I couldn't sleep. I'm telling my kids, I have 5 by the way. I'm telling my kids, I'm like, you guys, do you guys remember? They're like, yeah. I'm like, I have to go clean that house.
It took Kiara and her uncle nearly 8 hours to clean it.
I went over the walls with all the feces on the walls. I went over the walls at least about 10 times. No over exaggeration because I had to use SOS pad that I was scraping the paint off.
Kiara didn't say how much she got paid, but it wasn't much. And the house is still not ready to move into.
No,
Would
hell
you
no.
live in that house now after you clean?
Let's go see. No,
One day.
Let's go. 5 months ago, Mom
This is the home along Northwest.
9 kids. Here we go.
This is the home along
Watch
Northwest
this one.
37th Avenue and 177th Street in Miami
NC,
Gardens,
Florida.
where police say they
Full
found
credit to
children
NBC, Florida.
unbathed and, quote, covered in filth. Officers say inside the feces and roaches were on the kitchen floor, and garbage was on the bedroom floor and flowing out of the closets.
The allegations are fairly severe.
30-year-old Ashley Jennings is charged with 9 counts of child neglect, 1 for each of her children.
How old are these children?
Judged from 1 to 10 years old. We spoke with a man at the house who referred to himself as a kind of uncle to the kids. He told us off camera that the house is always in good condition.
That is a lie. There is no way that house could be in good condition. I mean, what do they think is acceptable condition? Because I guarantee she had her hair done. I bet her fingernails were done too. Unbelievable, people.
Anybody can slack a little bit, but then again, she ain't no bad person.
While we were at the home, the front door was wide open and the hallway appeared clean. There was a full garbage bag on the front step and open windows throughout the house, suggesting it had been cleaned since the police were here Friday.
There's 9 counts.
The judge gave Jennings a $22,000 bond and left the decision as to whether she can see her children if she bonds out to the Department of Children and Families. This is the home along Northwest 37th Avenue. And
I guarantee you there's another one just, right down here. 2 months ago, police rescued child from horrific living conditions. And this
Police
is over
officers
at,
responded to a report to check the living.
Whoops.
Police officers responded to a report to check the living conditions of a young girl, but the moment they entered the house, they were met with a shocking scene.
I got some information. There's a small child that lives here that's basically being neglected.
What? But she's not neglected whatsoever.
Right, and she may not be, but I'll have to see her, just check on her or whatever. How are you?
Pretty good.
My job is have a look at your child, make sure she's got food and a place to sleep, and then I'll be on my way.
She's not neglected.
So where's she at?
She's asleep right now.
Well, you can take me to where she sleeps.
I had all this clean, but it's not now.
Maybe right there.
Okay. Right, they always say it was clean.
Does your refrigerator even work?
Yeah.
How do you get to the room where she sleeps?
You gotta go over that.
Come in here. Where does she sleep? Okay.
I can't make it any bigger.
Gross.
Look at that mess.
Mr. Rand?
Yes.
You gonna stand around and put your hand back for me?
Okay.
Police officers responded to a report to check the living conditions of a young girl, but the
God.
moment they entered the house,
Let's
they
see the
were
next one. I mean, it's
Tonight,
over and over and over. Every time you turn around, another set
On
of
July-
children
On July
living
10th,
like this.
2023, officers made contact with a woman after. On July 10th,
Let me find a
2023.
better one. Hang on. Let me see. Let's find one that's current. 2026. Let's find a 2026 because I'm pretty sure it's there more than what we've already seen. Let's see. Rescued from horrible living. Let's see. Let's see.
Hi, everyone.
Let's see if we can find one. Well, hang on. Let's put it a different way because I don't want to find like not rescued, but okay, 2026 moms. Let's call it deplorable. Oops. Nasty homes. We'll just put it like that. Nasty homes. Let's see what we got over here. Okay, 3 weeks ago. This is 3 weeks ago.
Happening in Del Rio, a 28-year-old mother has been
3 weeks
arrested
ago.
after police say they found a bruise covered up with makeup on her 6-year-old daughter. Nikki Rataco is currently facing a charge of injury to
Antonio.
a child. Police say a Ceniza Hills Elementary School student reported that her mother had assaulted her younger sibling. Police say they later found a large bruise on the 6-year-old's back covered up by makeup. Officers then issued an arrest warrant. Rataco was later found living in a storage shed with 4
Another
other children
storage shed.
and taken into custody. Child Protective Services placed the 6 kids into emergency care.
Another
Investigators
storage.
say all 6 children were evaluated. Urgent medical was recommended for the 3 youngest.
See, it just goes on and on, doesn't it? Let's see the next one.
The cold weather impact.
3 days ago.
The cold weather
This
impacting
is 3
families
days
around
ago.
the state of.
Let's see
The
what's
cold
going
weather
on with this
impacting
one.
families around the state of Ohio. In Northeast Ohio,
WBNS.
2 kids are safe today. And this is after police in Mentor found them wandering alone outside a hotel.
Their mother was arrested and charged with endangering children, and now she says she's taking responsibility. Reporter Sia at New York Court explains why the mom says she may need help in the future.
I'm so scared. Laura Bettler says she woke up to a nightmare early Thursday morning.
Like I can't eat, I can't sleep, I can't take a shower, I can't go to the bathroom because I can't clean my house because every time I do, tries to get outside.
Mentor police say just before 12:30, officers arrived at this extended stay America hotel on Emerald Court after someone saw a 3-year-old girl in the parking lot.
Wow.
My car so I can get you nice
And
and warm,
look
okay?
how cold it is there.
This
Okay.
is body cam footage. Officers said the child was only wearing a sweater in 8-degree weather.
8 degrees.
I'm gonna get inside my car here. Okay.
Oh my.
I'm gonna sit in here. Okay.
When police located
Let me ask a stupid question. Really, I don't think it's stupid. But you don't hear a child going out your hotel room door? You don't have other children saying, "Mom, Mom, so and so's going out the door?" What in the world? Is she on? I hope they drug tested her. I hope they did.
The child's mother, Bettler, at the hotel. She told officers she was asleep and didn't know her daughter had left the room. They say that's when she realized her 8-year-old daughter was also missing.
So not only one child, the 3-year-old, wandering around out there, an 8-year-old missing as well. You didn't hear anybody open the room door. You didn't lock the door before you went to sleep in a hotel. Oh, God.
Officers found that girl outside the nearby Hampton Inn. She was wearing only a T-shirt and sneakers.
Hold on, let me get the key.
No coat.
It was really a bad situation. Luckily, they were transported to the hospital by your fire department, and they checked out okay. But these extreme temperatures, it could have been bad.
Bettler was arrested and charged with endangering children. She tells me she is grateful to Mentor Police and the Good Samaritans for helping her children, but she is devastated about her family's circumstances. They are homeless, now living at this extended stay with several children who have special needs.
Three of the 5 are autistic. I feel horrible. I mean, one of my worst fears is for...
I will say, and I'm not defending her actions, I'm not. But when you have 3 children that have different needs, I don't call them special, I call them different needs, or you'd have to take extra precautions. So they're in hotel rooms, there are several different locks. One of the locks is a bar that goes like this, and it has a thing that flips over it, at the top. And they can't reach it unless they drag a chair over there. Now, you're going to hear them dragging a chair over there. You're going to tell me you did not lock the door knowing you had children with different abilities that are known to wander. Are you kidding me? Damn.
Something to happen to my daughter, someone coming and taking her because she gets outside. And she doesn't just leave with clothes on either. She will leave with nothing on because clothing to autistic children is restrictive. So sometimes they don't want to wear it. And she's one of those children that doesn't like to wear their clothing.
Bettler tells me she's working with Child Protective Services on a safety plan, but says she's scared and needs some help.
I would have never have let this happen on purpose. I don't even let people around my kids who are bad. Like, I barely ever let anybody around them because I'm too afraid of the world today. And that's my job as their mother, to protect them from anybody that's willing to harm them.
I am glad to see that she's going to take responsibility. This is a good outcome. It's bad how it started, but it's a good outcome. So let's go to the next one, because they're over and over. Let's see. Doomsday Mom's missing children.
She's the mom who became obsessed, believing. She's the mom who became obsessed, believing the end of the world was coming. Her estranged husband claims she fled to Europe with their kids. Now, the so-called Doomsday Mom found and in custody. The relieved father tells Jim Murray the kids are coming home.
The 4 missing children allegedly abducted by their Doomsday Mom have been found, and their father is elated.
They're doing all right, all things considered.
Boarding Zone 4 for Amsterdam. Zone 4, welcome aboard.
The kids were last seen boarding a flight at Salt Lake City Airport with their mom as she corralled them onto a plane bound for Amsterdam. Now, 2 months later, 35-year-old Alicia Seymour has been arrested in Croatia in the city of Dubrovnik after the kids were discovered in a state-run orphanage. Their relieved father, Kendall Seymour, has been notified and is now in Croatia to bring them back. He gave us these photos, which were taken inside the orphanage.
I get to see him once a day for a couple of hours. I can be here near them, but can't take them out of the house.
Brace yourselves for the end times.
Before fleeing the USA, Alicia Seymour spoke about her bleak visions of an...
Here we go, Lori Vallow number 2, the next Doomsday Mom right here. Now, I know that they were being taken care of, and I know that they were not being abused, but they were technically being abused. They were taken from their father. He did not know they were going there. They were told when they were boarding the planes that they weren't coming back. That's when they find out, right? That is a type of mental abuse. They're always going to need help. I don't understand this end time. This is something that needs to be studied. How do these people get into these cults like
apocalyptic
this?
end to life as we know it in a series of disturbing TikTok videos.
The airplanes fell from the sky.
Red flags.
People are not surviving. they're not making it.
Kendall Seymour worked with the FBI to track down Landon, Levi, Hazel, and their half-brother Jacob. What kind of emotional toll will this have on them, do you think?
The kids seem to be doing all right in the children's home, all things considered, but you never really know what's going to come out when you get home.
Dad is hopeful the doomsday nightmare he's been living.
Here's the thing about this. So they're going to get these children back home and they will be living with him. But then the next thing that happens is their mother's rights will be completely taken away and she will not be able to visit with these children unless it's supervised, and then it will be very limited. So next thing is the emotional abuse that this takes on these children because now their mother's taken out of their life for something that she did. This is huge, and I feel so sorry for these children. Let's go to the next one because it's just over and over, guys. Here we go. Let's see. 3 days ago, mom arrested for negligence. Look at this one.
December 8th, Sheriff's Office deputies served a search warrant at a residence following a child neglect case. The deputies observed that the house was filthy with trash and spoiled food items littered all over. There was no running water and the non-working toilets were filled with urine and feces. Drugs were also found in the house.
Of course.
Hey, Amanda, can I talk to you real quick?
Am I in trouble?
Well, no, but we need to have a talk. Let's come out here.
Am I going to jail?
Yeah.
What?
Hey, come on.
Why am I going to jail?
So I'm going to explain that here in a minute. You're going to go to jail on 4 counts of child abuse.
December 8th, Sheriff's Office deputies served a search warrant at a residence following a child neglect case. The deputies observed that the house was filthy with trash and spoiled food items littered all over. There was no running water and the non-working toilets were filled with urine and feces.
Once again, no running water. That's a constant with these kind of cases. Here we go.
Drugs were also found in the house.
Hey, Amanda, can I talk to you real quick?
Am I in trouble?
Well, no, but we need to have a talk. Let's come out here.
Am I going to jail?
Yeah.
What?
Hey, come on.
Why am I going to jail?
So
Okay.
December 8th, Sheriff's Office deputies served a search warrant at a residence following a child neglect case. The deputies observed that the house was filthy with...
It's the same thing. It's the same thing.
The call.
3 days ago. Okay, let's see. Doomsday. Let's go back home. Let's see. We just saw that one. Roaches, feces, maggots, Pensacola. This was 2 years ago. This was 12 years ago. 1 day ago. Plot twist. Mom arrested for child neglect. 1 day ago.
With me real quick, please. I just wanted to talk to you away from your daughter. Okay, so if you will just put your phone down.
Are you arresting me?
Yes, ma'am.
What?
Full credit to
Drop everything.
news.
No, hold on.
I
Why
think
are you
it's shenanigans.
For what?
You are under arrest.
Can you give my phone to my daughter?
Yes, ma'am. We're going to talk to her.
You're arresting me for what?
For child
let's see what it
neglect.
is.
Oh my God, are you
News
serious?
and shenanigans.
For child neglect, can you give my phone to my daughter so she can call my lawyer? For child neglect because I dropped her here and came back?
Place your hands behind her back.
Oh wow. So what about my other daughter?
Wow. Oh, that's
Yeah,
a plot
right.
twist
Wow.
right there, y'all, because I did not know she was going to get arrested for child neglect. Wow.
With me real quick, please. I just wanted to talk to you away from your daughter. Okay, so if you will just put your phone down.
Are you arresting me?
Yes, ma'am.
What?
Okay.
Drop everything.
Let's just
No,
go
hold
to the
on. Why are
next
you
one.
under
Here we
arrest?
go. Let's go to the next one. I
With me
mean,
real quick.
1 year, 7 years, 15
Out of
hours
breath.
ago. We saw that one. 2 days ago. Oh, that's cute. Let's see.
Bill, these conditions
7
inside
years ago. Hang on a minute.
It's a
We saw
house that
one.
looks like a
6 months
castle.
ago. 21 kids. 21 kids. Watch.
It's
21
a house
kids.
that looks like a castle, but it's under
ABC
investigation for being a possible factory. A baby factory.
God.
Arcadia police stumbled upon this house on Camino Real Avenue while investigating a child abuse case. A 2-month-old suffering a traumatic head injury.
We discovered numerous children, 15 children to be specific, ranging in ages from 2 months old to 13 years old. Many of the children were birthed through surrogacy, and then the male and female at the residence took legal guardianship of those kids.
6 other kids, investigators
Wait
say,
a
have been...
minute. That is a very questionable story, and I'll tell you why. Surrogacy is very, very expensive. So, or is it more like they found pregnant women who did not have anybody to help them, and they said, move in with us, and then we'll adopt your child from you? Is it that instead? Because that's kind of what it sounds like to me. Here we go. Oh, look, I made him a typo. Can I edit that? No, I cannot edit it. Okay, well, we'll just keep going. It's fine. Well, okay.
And moved to other homes. All 21 of the kids confirmed to be the
21
children of this couple, 65-year-old Guajun Shen and 38-year-old Sylvia Zhang. They were arrested for felony child endangerment but later released. Police have also issued an arrest warrant for their nanny, 56-year-old Chun Mei Lee. Investigators say after looking at the surveillance video, she is the main suspect in the child abuse case and is still on the loose.
The discipline.
Something is very wrong with this story and how it's being portrayed. This is not surrogacy. Certainly isn't. No. And here's the other thing, and I'm not being mean, I'm really not. But think about this: they've got 21 children over there that they have somehow legally adopted. Now we don't know the backstory, but when they have 21 children, how much help, how much assistance are they living on? How much in food stamps do they get? How much in how much in help do they get with those 21 children? Because ain't nobody working, I guarantee you that. This kind of thing makes me very upset. Here we go. Let's go to the next one. Oh. Okay, that was, let's see, 5 months ago, mom, 9 kids, we saw that one.
This is the
5 months ago, hang on,
Guess what I have?
2 years, 1 day ago, letting their 6-year-old do what? To ride his scooter alone to the playground, 6 years old. Ugh, 19 hours ago, that's a different story, hang on. Let's see, 2 years ago, 6 years ago. I mean, it's just everywhere you look. I mean, 5 years ago, 2 years ago. It goes on and on and on with these poor children living in these horrible conditions. Listen to this one. This was 12 years ago.
Tonight,
a police officer, his children were removed from him for a filthy house. A police officer. Watch this one. It's 12 years
And
ago.
tonight,
but
a
watch
Springfield
it.
police lieutenant is in trouble with the law again. Good evening, I'm Katie Houston.
And I'm Mark Allen. Domestic violence charges against Lieutenant Noel Lopez were dismissed in June due to a staffing shortage in the prosecutor's office. But tonight, he and his wife stand accused of child endangering. Rob Sneed shows you what investigators found in their home. It's our top story from our Springfield newsroom.
I think I've got this
Chief
right.
Moody here at the Springfield Police Department hasn't returned any of my calls regarding this case, but the Clark County Sheriff's Office did release photos. They say investigators took inside of Lieutenant Lopez's home. Well, I showed those photographs to his neighbors, and they tell me they can't believe Lieutenant Lopez would allow his 3 children to live in such
Let's make it
disgusting
big
conditions.
so you can see it. Yeah.
It's appalling.
Look at that. And this
hope
is,
kid
I mean,
ain't
this is
living in
a
there.
police officer.
But Thomas Waters soon found out authorities took these pictures inside Springfield Police Lieutenant Noel Lopez's and his wife Kimberly's home, where their children live. Waters lives just 2 doors down.
I wouldn't allow it. I had to grow up like that. I'm not going to allow it for my kids. And it shouldn't be, any kid shouldn't have to go through that.
In the incident report, authorities say they came to Lieutenant Lopez's home Monday morning to meet with him and his wife Kimberly concerning an ongoing investigation. While their deputies snapped these pictures of Lopez's home, they say these are the rooms where his 3 children slept,
No
all
sheets.
under the age of 10. You can see how dirty this room is. The mattress stained and soiled without sheets. Deputies also say the kitchen had dishes stacked high with no place to wash your hands. They say the entire upstairs and the bathroom were filthy and appear to have not been cleaned in months.
Kind of upsetting.
Deputies say Kimberly claimed her medical issues.
Okay, take a good look. Take a good look. Look at, and this is a police officer's home. Hey there, girl. How you doing, Daphne Silence? Good to see ya. I'm just kind of going over some things that kind of disgusted me. I decided to do this morning. I was like, you know what? I'm going to go do a little live show about people having children living in these horrible conditions and other family members just turning a blind eye to it like they don't know. They do know. Stop it. They do know. Oh, God.
Stopped her from cleaning, and Lieutenant Lopez refused to help. I tried contacting Lieutenant Lopez for his side of
That's about right. The narcissistic asshole refused to help her clean the house after all those kids. Why? Why? Just because you have a job doesn't mean you can't help clean? I mean, those are your children too. Give me a break.
the story, but no one came to the door.
Disgusting.
Lieutenant Lopez and his wife both pleaded not guilty to charges of endangering children in court. Authorities ordered the kids to be removed from the home, and Walter says he's glad they're no longer there.
The more it is brought up, the more people will actually recognize that and hopefully be able to see things like this happening beforehand and be able to take care of it before it gets to this state.
And authorities say those children are not allowed to return to Lieutenant Lopez's home until that mess is cleaned up. They also say that Kimberly Lopez says the kids are now staying with her sister.
Yeah.
Reporting in Springfield, Rob Sneed.
Teachers, nurses, police are some of the worst homes child protections. Yeah, isn't that shocking? It's like they're the one. Oh, just like the hoarders. Remember that hoarder case where she was a some kind of counselor for these people, but then she had her house was hoarded up. It's disgusting. I don't understand people. Let's go find some more because it's everywhere.
Two parents accused of keeping their kids locked up. Two parents accused of keeping their kids locked up in a filthy bedroom are now facing child abuse charges. We're going to show you photos from inside the apartment, but I want to warn you, they are graphic.
Just horrible living conditions, something that you wouldn't even wish on your worst enemy.
Inside the apartment, officers reported a strong smell of feces and urine and could see dried waste covering the floor, walls, and bedding. Glendale police were called to the apartment near 67th Avenue and Bethany Home Road last Thursday after a Good Samaritan called for a welfare check upon seeing a child standing in the window without clothes on. The 4- and 6-year-old boys were allegedly kept inside a fenced-in bedroom without access to a bathroom. And inside that bedroom, officers found a gun and exposed electrical wiring. The parents, identified as Sarah and Arthur Jackson, reportedly told officers the children hadn't been to a doctor since birth and they don't go to school.
The conditions here were so deplorable.
They've never been to a doctor and they don't go to school. How do they don't go to school? I mean, nobody's home teaching those two kids, are they? God almighty. We saw this one a little bit ago. Well, let's go back and let's look at another one. I mean, they're just 8 months ago. Disturbing. This one, she was arrested after her child was found by a school bus driver running around outside naked. Here we go. Look at this one, Keisha Williams.
On your crime tracker today,
KSL
police
News
say they have arrested this woman, Kenisha Williams, for a disturbing child neglect incident. Here's what we know. According to SPD, police responded to a report of a young child who was running in the street naked during yesterday's storm. And the child had taken shelter on a nearby bus after being spotted by the driver when officers got there. When officers arrived at the child's home on Sussex Avenue, they were able to identify the child's mother as Kenisha Williams. Officers say they found 3 other children as well as horrible living conditions inside the home. And Williams was taken into custody and charged with 4 counts of criminal neglect of family.
Again, you know, here's the question.
Breaking news tonight.
Here's the question I have from all of them. Okay, there's a grandmother and a grandfather. There's aunts and uncles. There's supposedly family friends. Why is nobody paying attention to what's happening to these children? Why does nobody care? Do they just say, oh, that's Keisha, that's how she keeps her house so well, and they just move on? They don't say a word to her. They just don't get involved. They're like, oh well, that's not my children. I don't need to worry about it. But you know what that is? If it's your family members' children, you do need to worry about it. Unbelievable. Hang on, guys. Let's keep going here.
On your crime tracker today.
Okay, let me go back. Now, let's see. Hang on. We saw the one from 15 hours ago. Woman says she pulled her kids out of public and private because, hang on. Little kid arrested. Funny police moment. Let's see. 2 years ago, 3 hours ago, 9 kids. We saw that one already. Then there was the Turpin. Oh, let's listen to the Turpin kids on Good Morning America. This is 7 hours ago.
When I meet somebody, I try to act like I'm
one
just
of the
like
Turpin
a normal,
children.
average girl.
But after their escape, these 3 children were placed in a foster home. The children had no experience of a real family and were trying to grasp what was happening to them again.
People say if you're born in a house that's on fire, you think the whole world's on fire. And that's the way it was for me.
They literally told us, nobody wants you. You're never gonna find a better place than this.
Every night they would like drink and then they would like just get really like mean and like aggressive towards us. They just made me hate myself.
Allegations from the civil suit give the details. How some of them were hit with belts, their hair pulled.
It's just horrible.
They say the foster parents told them they would never be loved. They were worthless.
At that time, I kind of felt like my life was like doomed, I guess.
And as you'll hear tonight,
You know what's wild about all of this, though? Is it Good Morning America? Hang on, guys. Make sure it's GMA. Yes. Okay. most of this, this is true. I'm not making this up. You can go out and find the stats or whatever. But a lot of these cases, it involves a foster type situation. Uh, you know, mm, because if it's not their child, oh God, I'm not going to get off on that, but it's just awful. But I mean, look what happened to those Turpin children. It's kind of the same thing. Yeah, I've been a hoarder. It's okay, girl. I have been a hoarder, and my house has been untidy because of my mental health. However, never dangerous. I would clean up after pets, clean clothes, clean kitchen, but deep clean was an issue for me. Oh, girl, I get that. I get that. And if you have more than one child at home, it is hard to keep up with it. And if you have more than one pet, it is hard. And if you're a mother, you're full time working, I get it. I get all that. And there is a lot of laziness involved. But the Turpins, I don't understand that situation. They paint the perfect picture outside, but the inside's just chaotic hell. That's the thing. That's how that goes. Kind of weird, but here. Now, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go and pull up this next one I want to look at. Hang on. I got to turn that music down. Look how loud it is. Let's see if I can find another one of these. Hang on. 3 years ago, 21 hours ago. Oh, that's a different thing. Walmart. I'm looking for cases of horrific homes and children. That's what I'm looking for. Military dad. Let's see. Hang on. Hang on a sec. Well, I'm going to get off of this YouTube thing. I'm going to get off of that. Hang on. Let me turn this music down. I don't know why it does that. The thing about StreamYard is there's some things about it that's just not, makes it a little bit hard to deal with. See how loud that is now? It wasn't loud like that a while ago, so I don't know what happened. Look at it. I didn't do that. Anyway, go back over here. All right, anyway. Right there. All right, good. Now. There we go. All right. Why is it loud like that? I can still hear it real loud. Okay. All right, let me turn that down. Oh, I guess it's okay now. No, I can still hear it. Crazy shit. All right, here we go. There we go. There, all gone. Now. Yeah, I know, girl. It is hard. I mean, there's a difference between poorly needing help and support and just downright causing harm. I will co-op soon. Oh yeah, okay with you and talk about it. I promise. It's fine. I can't hear it only. I can't hear it only here. Oh yeah, I turned everything off. I turned it all off. Can you still hear me okay? Because I turned everything off because I messed up my little stream there. I'm never perfect at this. It's a learning curve every day. But what got me started on this was I was watching something this morning and I thought to myself, you got to be kidding me. How did nobody notice this, and how did not one family member step up and get involved? That's what got me started on this morning, and I thought to myself, how many times a day are the police called for this very same situation? It is all over everywhere. Let me get my little iPad up here and look at something. And I just wanted to jump on and talk about it for a second because I was like, it's just so terrible. I mean, hang on a minute. Here's another one. This is Texas Department of Public Safety. It says Lorelei Crouch searched the internet for advice on how to report child abuse. So she knew about something, but she didn't know how to take care of it. So her inquiries were not academic. Prosecutors say that Crouch had for weeks been watching her boyfriend pummel his 2-year-old son, Wyatt, slapping and flinging him into tables and door jams in punishment. But Crouch never made that call. Later that month, Randall Pickett, 29, beat Wyatt so viciously that Crouch told police the boy appeared drunk. Rather than calling the police or rendering aid, Crouch beat that toddler herself. So then she starts beating on him. You turned me into a monster, she texted her boyfriend on July 25th. Wyatt died from what an autopsy said were blunt force injuries to his head and torso. The father's troubled and violent family life had been investigated multiple times by the Department of Family and Protective Services, but they kept giving the child back. right? Yet Wyatt's fate was like many other across Texas, where from 2018 to 2023, a child died from abuse or neglect on average more than every other day. This is just in Texas, okay? Compelled by changes to the state law in 2021 and to their own policy starting in 2020, DFPS decision makers closed cases and hoped for the best and they just walked away. Okay, well, you've taken a little class. Okay, we're done. And close the case and walk away. What? And then you wonder how all these children die. Oh, God. The whole system is a failure. Wyatt's grandmother, Melissa Pickett, told TPR, I can honestly say that I could have done so many things differently. My grandson would still be alive. You see, that's the thing. Had the grandmother stepped in and actually done something instead of ignoring it, that child would still be alive, and the grandmother admits it. Well, I'm glad she admits it. Thank you. More than 1,200 children died from 2018 to 2023 from maltreatment. More than half of those deaths blamed on abuse and neglect occurred in families that had come under state scrutiny. So they're already, CPS is already involved, but then they keep giving back. You know, hang on a minute, let me see. Oh, I'm sorry. My hoarding was things like my children's clothing, sentimental things. I think it was because of fleeing from, domestic violence and leaving everything but the clothes on my back. I could face getting rid of anything. I get that, I do. Because you're right, when these women leave, that's something, I've talked about this a few times when I was helping with the shelter. They do leave without anything. They just take their children and they go. And they never go back because they can't. And so I understand people hoarding sentimental things. I mean, I have everything each one of my child did in kindergarten. I have the boxes, it's full. Everything they did in kindergarten, I saved it. I know that's kind of like hoarding, but they are in crates, and the crates are put away. Why do I do it? Because I just felt like it's kind of that same thing. I just felt like it's sentimental. It was important to me. It's times that I can never replace those times. I mean, it was such a happy time, I get that, I do. It's okay. It's okay. I'm gonna call you woman's warrior because it's easier to say. It's okay. I mean, I get that. And that I think that's how a lot of it starts. I think a lot of it starts with some kind of trauma that's happened. In a hoarder's case, I really do. Some kind of trauma happened, and they start holding on to things because people walk away, but the things stay with them, and the things become their enjoyment every day because people don't come back, right? And I know it's a type of a mental illness and a traumatic. It goes together, you know. Then they says 1 out of 5 of those deaths occurred in families that had already been investigated at least 3 times for abuse and neglect. Nearly 100 of these families had been investigated 6 or more times. See, they go out, they come back. They go out, they come back. They keep giving these children back to these people. 1 out of 4 deaths occurred in families that had been investigated within a year prior. More than 200 happened within 6 months of an investigation. The 2021 law intended to reduce unnecessary removals of children from their homes just fueled a 40% drop during the 6-year period in total removals for everything from physical and sexual abuse to neglect and supervision issues. Yet Texas also has radically curtailed the service provider to the parent, the services they provide to the parents. Things like drug testing and treatment and domestic violence prevention efforts that could lessen the risk of children left with them. But see, they reviewed thousands of pages of DFPS fatality reports, autopsies, police and court records, state reviews and audits, and interviewed dozens of current and former caseworkers. I mean, they interviewed dozens of caseworkers and former workers, investigators and victims, loved ones, and attorneys and judges. So they talked to every part of this problem. And it says the deaths were often predictable and spanned the entire state. Yeah, they're predictable. Harmony Montgomery, you knew something was going to happen to that child. You knew something was going to happen to that child. Look at the monster she was living with. Look how they were living. Yeah. But then there's not getting help, causing harm. Okay, hang on a minute. And living in disgusting, dangerous homes. Why do they give them back? That blows me. I don't know, girl. That's what I'd like to know. I'd like to know how these children end up staying in the situation, especially, when they've been out there 6 times and then the children end up dead. Well, oh my goodness. DPR reviewed all these pages, right, from these cases, and they compiled more than 1,200 deaths into the database, charting the services offered and what the caseworkers found, including connections to previous investigations and perpetrators. So the deaths were often, predictable and spanned. In 2020, a 10-month-old girl in Lubbock was stuffed in her mother's boyfriend's backpack and left in his car trunk for hours. God. An 8-year-old Houston boy with autism was beaten to death by his mother's boyfriend. Of course it was. Okay? Of course it was. The mother's boyfriend stuffed the child in a backpack and threw in the back of the car. The mother's boyfriend beat a child to death, an 8-year-old with autism, and left in an apartment where for a year his siblings were forced to live with his corpse. A 2-year-old Waco boy allegedly died at the hands of his drug-addicted mother, who wrapped his body in trash bags and tossed him in a dumpster before reporting him missing. Of course, the families of all 3 victims had been investigated numerous times by DFPS. This is what the records were showing. The system is not working, says Mercedes Bristol, Executive Director of Texas Grandparents Raising Children, an advocacy group that helps grandparents navigate the child welfare system. Kids today continue to be hurt and continue to be neglected, abused, and die, she says. The DFPS Commissioner, Stephanie Murph, declined in TPR's multiple interviews request. The department also declined to respond to the submitted list of written questions, though it answered a few in some emails. So, like, they're trying to talk to these providers, but they don't want to talk about it. See, because it shows how wrong they are. So they asked him a few questions. She answered just a few of them. And so then she goes, the DFPS official says that sweeping reductions in child protection efforts has not endangered children. Bullshit! Bullshit! Oh my God, that's a lie. Let's go back up here, okay? Now, because it goes right back to, yes, it has. But the state numbers are highly questionable. The decline of fatalities coincides with a policy that dramatically reduced which deaths get investigated. But no, they're still dying, but they're not investigating all of them. They're not going out, okay, well, this child died of abuse. But they're not going back out there and saying, okay, let's investigate this. And oh boy. Okay. But the state numbers are highly questionable. The decline in fatalities coincides with a policy that dramatically reduced which deaths got investigated. And the 2021 state law redefined what constitutes death by neglect, which drove down the count of 2 of the largest cases of such deaths, drownings and smothering from unsafe sleep arrangements. The main effect of the changes to the law and policy was to reduce the removal and sheltering of abused and neglected children, and the services designed to keep them safe if they remain with troubled parents. But you got to understand, they're not going to be safe with those troubled parents. What it feels like on the ground that is for a child protective services is implementing the policies that turn a blind eye to real issues in families, said Lori Duke. She's the director of Child Rights Clinic at the University of Texas in Austin. Go Longhorns. Instead of trying to fix the issues, they're just trying to figure out a way to avoid even addressing them. Yeah, I can see that. Bad policy and flawed laws. Wyatt Pickett was born July the 12th, 2020, to Dallas Berger and Randall Pickett. Crouch, the father's new girlfriend, didn't enter the picture until 2022. So in this case, the girlfriend, not the boyfriend, but the girlfriend is responsible for it. Before, the family included Berger's 11-year-old daughter that lived in Victoria, where they became well known to the police and DFPS. That's right, it's always CPS involved. It makes me so angry. It's common sense. We need women running the country and forcing to make it all. You're right about that, girl. You are right about that. So before it goes so the police department in Victoria knew these people because of the multiple times they had to go out to this house. Wyatt's grandmother described the blonde-haired, cherub-cheeked toddler as mischievous and full of energy. Okay, that's okay. Children are children. He was vocal compared to his twin brothers. Wyatt wanted the attention of anyone around him. A caregiver said that after his death. His obituary said he loved to sing and dance. Wyatt was one of those that was bounced all over the place, constantly into something. Melissa Pickett at the Crouch. This is what was said at the trial. Randall Pickett had a history of violence And methamphetamine, here we go. Daniel Martell, here we go. He had physically assaulted one intimate partner. Here we go, Daniel Martell, and threatened to kill the family member, says a mother of a previous girlfriend who asked not to be identified. The DFPS investigated Wyatt's family 3 times. Child welfare investigators visited multiple times starting in August of 2021, less than a year before he died. So within the year, he dies. Someone called the statewide abuse hotline to say that Pickett was using methamphetamine while caring for his kids. He denied it but refused to take a drug test. DFPS closed the case without any further services because he was allowed to refuse to take a drug test. Within weeks, another investigation was launched, and Wyatt's half-sister told his teacher she was exhausted from caring for the twins. But the girl then revealed she had been drinking alcohol with her mother at night and at one point urinated in a cup. Oh, geez. Hang on, guys. Let me get this little thing off of here. Okay. Got my big pencil today because these parents are getting F's, I'm telling you. She goes, so she had been drinking with the mother and urinated in a cup. Damn it. She peed in the cup for her mother so her mother could pass the drug test. As previous investigations as a predictor of the likelihood of future abuse or neglect, and it is a predictor of child maltreatment fatalities, says Melinda Gashwa, a visiting professor of social work at Simons University in Boston. Instead of treating every call or every report that comes in as, from the hotline, you have to really put the pieces together, she says. But after the initial DFPS visit, no one from the agency returned to the modest apartment in Victoria for several weeks. The investigation had been abandoned. The term of the case left open when an investigator leaves the department of the region. So the investigator leaves and nobody picks up the caseload? Is that what you're telling us? Abandoned cases were becoming all too normal that year. Texas was hemorrhaging child protection staff, and the turnover rate for investigators would be 46%. Okay, 46% of all investigators would quit. 46% of the staff are just leaving. How long does it take to replace them? Here's something I'm going to ask about. And people are always like, well, you really need to have a bachelor's degree in some kind of psychology or something like to be a social worker. I don't think it should be that way. Yeah, what the fuck is right? We're going to say cuss words. I'm not monetized. It's okay. Why do you have to? Why is it so hard to hire caseworkers? How do you make the caseworkers' education more important than their willingness to help? Their willingness to take a job that's hard that nobody wants to do. Why? Why is there more important than what they're willing to learn and to help these children? This exodus is caused by what one former director called it's the worst backlog of crisis in years in that agency. More than 9,000 cases left open for more than 60 days, during which the state simply didn't know what was happening in homes already reported for abuse or neglect. Some 4,000 cases were backlogged through 2023. Sometimes they were seeing kids. It had been 6 months since they had last been, 6 months ago, and then they go back and see them again. Yeah, like lived experiences, college level is enough in common. Yes, I agree with that. I think if, like a person like me, I'm 65 years old. I've retired when I was 55 years old. If I wanted to go back to work, even though I've never worked in that field, but I have worked in the legal field, why can't I go get a job there? They're going to say, well, number one, your age, and number two, you don't have that kind of college, you don't have that experience, and you don't have the college degree in that. So they would say no, right? It's ridiculous. Sometimes they were seeing kids, and it had been 6 months that they had last been seen. The former director of DFPS Special Investigations Unit said this. Her department of 300 was reassigned to help with the backlog. She said they found many children in dangerous homes. Well, thank you. I think I would be too, but, they wouldn't hire me. Well before the staffing crisis for decades, observers recognized that the balancing and desire to keep families together with the need to keep kids safe is a high stress and often thankless job, and it still is. Yeah, I'm sure it is. But the policies, I think the policies are the problem. Yes, you want to keep a family together. I understand that. And yes, the foster system is overloaded, and there's so many children out there who need homes. I get that. But you're leaving these children in situations where you're not going to be able to teach that old dog a new trick. Think about this. History repeats itself. It always does. So we've got a system where it's overloaded, overworked, and terribly underpaid, says Morgan Davis, the former DFPS investigator. And then you're told you're not doing a good enough job and you're putting kids in harm's way. And so at one point, you just give up. Wyatt's case was reassigned to Daniel Byer, a special investigator who visited the family in late 2021. He told TPR that the interview was going well until he asked the parents for a drug test, of course. That's when things went south real quick, Byer recalled. And Mom physically shoved me out the door. Berger also called 911 and the police arrived. She was irate, screaming and yelling, Byer said. Bayer attempted to get the family into the Family Preservation Services, also called Family-Based Safety Service, which can include drug treatment, domestic violence intervention, daycare, parenting classes, and sometimes even financial support for items like cribs to prevent smothering or money for rent, utilities, and food. Child Preservation Services caseworkers have the authority to make frequent visits to these homes of unstable families to ensure that children are going to school, make it to their medical appointments, are well fed, and don't have bruises or welts on their bodies. Pickett didn't want to drug test, and the DFPS rejected Byer's request for services. It was part of the explosion of thousands of rejections since 2020 when the policy changed and it narrowed who was eligible. The number of families rejected for social services jumped roughly from 300 families to 2,800 in the first year of the policy that was when they made the policy change. The DFPS summary of reasons for closing family preservation services is indicated. Well, I can tell you why it closed. Money, people, place. You have to have some place to run these things. In 2023, the number of families denied services was back down to 810, still more than double of 2018. Investigators decried the changes and warned DFPS executives about this risk. With limited options for ongoing services, investigators are left making quick and difficult decisions. These investigators, this was a briefing that they obtained, and the majority of them said, well, we're just left to make these quick and difficult decisions. Another briefing noted that the number of times the department approved services for family with abused or neglected kids had dropped by 50% compared to the same month years before. The absence of services made it easier to close these cases. Yeah, because you're just going to go out there and, okay, now the kid's bruise is healed, I don't see a new one. Well, they don't qualify for this other service over here, so we're just going to close the case, and you can just go on about beating your kid whenever you want to until somebody else decides to turn you in. The absence of services made it easier to close these cases. The effect was to turn their backs on troubled families like Wyatt's. Now Wyatt's dead. In the year he died, about 70% of the families in which the department found abuse and neglect had their cases closed without state services or continued monitoring. In the statement, DFPS said there are many reasons a case might be closed without continuing services. Yeah, I think the community is the community is missing a great opportunity. A team could go in there and do something for each state. Yeah, you're right. A team of us could get together, one person from each state, and look at what's going on and how to change and create some sort of a strategy. Right about that. If we could get somebody involved, if people would get involved, that's the thing. Because it really kind of goes back to this. You got family members who know these kids are living in this deplorable, nasty house, but they ain't going to do nothing about it. They're not getting involved because that's Keisha's kids and they don't care. Keisha's own mother. Well, I talked to her once about it before, but whatever. It's really that kind of a situation with these families. That's why nobody does anything. Then it says, in a statement, they said there were many reasons that they were closed. An abuse or neglect finding could have been against someone other than the parent, or the family could have received external services based on state referrals. Okay, so you're going to say if it's a girlfriend or boyfriend of a parent, and then you just close it because it's not one of the parents? No, something doesn't make sense right there. Okay. That doesn't explain the scale of the drop in state services. More than 6 in 10 families where abuse was confirmed received in 2023, which was 20% higher than 2018. The investigation into Wyatt's family was still open when Victoria police officers were called to the apartment on December 9th. Pickett allegedly put a knife to Berger's throat and threatened to kill her, according to the documents. So we did an affidavit for removal. But his attempts to get the children out failed. After reviewing the affidavit and policy, legal intervention was not possible, and a motion for to participate was going to be denied. Yeah, it is a cycle. It is a very big cycle. I mean, grassroots changing to think and acting of friends, family, communities, they can nip and they could just take care of it and break the cycle. Yes, they could, but they just they just turn their mind to it. And a lot of these, what I think happens too in a lot of these cases is the very people who are living like this with these children, they live that way too. See, they grew up in this. And so they were never taught to care about anything. And so they don't. It kind of goes back to the same thing that I always say this to young ladies. They talk about getting married, whatever. You know, first thing my first thought is you get yourself educated first because that marriage can come later. You need to be educated first. Then you know after you've done that, here's the thing. You need to set your expectations for how you expect to live early on. If you don't set an expectation, you're not going to be given anything because he's not going to work toward if you don't have expectations, he's not going to do anything. You got to set your standards. You got to put it out there immediately. You can't go 10 years down the road and then all of a sudden this is not good enough because well, if you never said anything, they don't know, right? It's like an MBM. As soon as she leaves therapy to prevent her going back, so hang on. Like MBM, as soon as she leaves therapy to prevent her going back, technically, or tech, her so okay, so doesn't okay, I know I have a problem. The kids need yeah, doesn't have another DV relationship. The kids need therapy too immediately and stop this generational on and on. Yes, they need therapy. But see, mom was raised in it, and so she didn't get any help with therapy, and so she just continues the same thing. So they said that Fire described the agency that would not act where investigators with mounds of evidence could not obtain or even pursue a court order to remove this child. I honestly think it was time the departments where they didn't want to remove kids. Yeah, they were always trying to keep them together. They wanted reunification at all costs, but you can't do that because the kids are dying. Berger took her daughter and left Pickett, who tested positive for methamphetamines and refused treatment or ongoing testing. The department allowed him to keep the twins and move in with his mother. Why would she take one child and not the other two? Why did she take all 3 kids? I don't understand. Wyatt was never placed in state custody. His family was among more than 100 classified at high or very high risk of harm to the children in 12 months before the death occurred. Oh, it's just awful. The kids, yeah. Texas has always been a low removal state compared to the others, even before House Bill 567 was enacted in 2021. Oops, sorry, let me fix that. The law changed the definition of neglect and raised the threshold for removal, limiting it to emergency situations of immediate danger. The goal, as stated by its author, State Representative James Frank from Wichita, was to reduce the number of unnecessary removals and the trauma that goes with them. So you just leave them over there in the mess because, okay, the house wasn't clean, so what, right? I'm not saying it's perfect in every case, but I think we've decreased the false and unnecessary removals, and we've made sure to allow that we can still remove those in very dangerous cases, but you cannot. Wyatt was left in that house. The bill passed with wide bipartisan support. Republicans liked that it bolstered parents' rights, and Democrats thought it could change a system that disproportionately impacted Black families in Texas. Disproportionately is real. The disparities are great, says Catherine Lavelle, CEO of Dallas CASA, C-A-S-A, a nonprofit that works with children in foster care. Yes, CASA is a wonderful organization. But even with the new law, that's still true. Black families in Texas are almost twice as likely to be reported, more than likely to be investigated, and 1.8 times more likely to have children removed, according to a 2023 report. In the fiscal year after the new law took effect, removals dropped by 41% in neglectful supervision cases. This category, Frank believed, was being misused to remove children who should stay with their parents. But the law affected removals across the board. Physical and medical neglect removals dropped about 22%. Physical abuse removals dropped by 30%. Yeah, you just left them over there. State investigators, meanwhile, continued to confirm abuse and neglect in numbers that did not drop. No, they didn't. You just changed the rules so you didn't have to investigate it. It's so easy to look at the data and see fewer kids being removed and just point to that, point this in the ice. It's like a good development, she says, but no, it's not. So your mind instantly thinks that there are fewer kids being abused, there are fewer kids being neglected, and that obviously that's not the case. No, it's not the damn case. Oh boy. Judges, attorneys, child advocates, and others have expressed concern over the ways the state has made leaving children in dangerous homes easier. So, do you have to be present when someone's holding a hammer to someone or a weapon? Asked State Senator Jose Mendez, who called it the new immediate danger standard for removal. Only if they're in immediate danger? Don't you think that daily abuse and daily hunger, I think it should not be immediate. And look, the daily turns into immediate. Hearing descriptions of child fatalities in recent interviews, a dejected Mendez mused about the possible need to replace the entire department. Just scrap the whole damn thing and start over. Amen. I wish they would. And why its final months. Sorry, I'm so upset I'm having a hard time speaking because understanding how they changed this law and how it affected these children is disgusting. So, this is why it's final months. Melissa Pickett had herself been the subject of DFPS investigations when she was raising Randall Pickett. Okay, so the dad's mom was also in the system for abuse and neglect of children, but yet she is okay. So, but the dad and Wyatt moved in with his mother, who was already in the system for this as well, and she was taking care of him. Unbelievable. Now, she agreed to sign a safety plan with the department. Oh, a safety plan. Okay. A document outlining how she would keep the twins safe. And then the investigation ended. Okay, so she signs this document. Okay, it's over. Per the agency's 2020 policy change, because the family had not been given family preservation services, and investigators could not convince the department lawyers to go to court. Those are the scary cases. We shouldn't be closing those cases. She called the policy a black hole of bad outcomes, and I tend to agree with her. That's why I retired, she said, because it goes back to me feeling like I wasn't effective anymore. The job was becoming impossible. By February, Pickett had moved in with Crouch, sharing a trailer in Blessing, which was 90 minutes southwest of Houston. Okay, so the child is taken out of the house that they were living in, where they had this plan. The safety plan was it. There was a safety plan. The child was taken out. Did DFPS know it? Well, I don't know. We're going to find out. The violence against the twins escalated for months. Crouch would later say, leaving visible bruises on these toddlers. I couldn't even go grocery shopping because I felt like people were looking at me because of the kids, she says, in a video interview with a Texas Ranger. But you never called the damn police? You didn't report him? What is so special about him that this girlfriend does not report him? Oh my God. Pickett was hot-tempered, Crouch told, flying off the handle over the smallest annoyance. Wyatt often provoked that. Oh, okay, so we beat on Wyatt because he would provoke. Oh, shit. Crouch's attorney called Pickett's abuse the product of bloodlust. They said the man admitted to police that he heard voices once that told him to hurt people. Oh, okay. So now he's going to use mental illness to try to get out of this. Okay, that's why. I got it now. I got it. But the boys loved their father, Crouch said, and sought him out after his overnight shifts at this plastics factory. Pickett did not return that affection, resenting them and responding to their pleas for paternal tenderness with slaps and shouts. Can you imagine these children? this little set of twins who wanted so badly to get affection from their father. Instead, they get slapped across the room. Okay. I hope that that son of a bitch is in jail and that he's somebody's bitch every fucking night. That's what I hope. I know that's ugly, but I hope it is true. Wyatt was undaunted and drew the most abuse, but his brother would sit quietly after being hit, afraid even to play. This is Crouch, the girlfriend, talking. Pickett would encourage Crouch to hit the twins, as she told the detective. Can you imagine a child so afraid to play? An assistant district attorney in Matagorda County asked the jury at Crouch's capital murder trial. Oh, geez. The day before his death, Pickett beat Wyatt repeatedly in the back room of the trailer. Crouch said she continued the mistreatment after he left for work. So Dad's beat the shit out of the kid and then he goes to work and you continue on? What is wrong with you? I hope that she's getting the shit beat out of her every day in prison. Text messages between Crouch and Pickett show Wyatt wouldn't go to sleep, even after she dosed him with melatonin, enough for a grown man. He was maybe afraid to go to sleep. Have anybody thought about that? Her text then went from, or did she just try to have him go to sleep all the time because she didn't want to mess with him? Because I can see that too, right? Prosecutors said that Crouch had struck Wyatt so hard his adrenal gland burst. He could have survived with medical attention. He bled from the mouth. He was unconscious, but his heart was beating. Crouch, this is what just pain. Oh, this might make me cry. I'm going to try not to, but I want to get through this. Okay. When Wyatt's father returned home the next morning, he didn't call the police. He didn't go for help. He just mowed the lawn and acted like nothing had happened. In the afternoon, more than 12 hours after Crouch said the boy lost consciousness, Pickett finally called 911. His son wasn't breathing. Paramedics found bruises on the toddler's head and face and clusters of black bruises on his stomach and legs. His autopsy said blunt force trauma to the head and torso caused his death. Crouch and Pickett were arrested and charged with capital murder. No child deserves to be beaten to death and then left in their crib to die a slow death while they mow the fucking grass. Oh my God, guys. Oh. He goes, left in this crib to die a slow death while they mow the grass and take a nap, and then finally decide there's nothing left to do but call 911 because he's finally dead. She will spend the rest of her life in prison. Pickett pled guilty to murder and drew a life sentence. So neither one of them got capital murder. They got life sentences. The system failed this child. Anybody where was CPS? Exactly. That's what I'm thinking. Absolutely. Jesse Pickles suffered from severe intellectual disabilities that rendered him nonverbal and affected his ability to walk and delayed his toilet training. But he could learn at age 10. He was at the Bel Air Elementary in Athens, which was 2 hours southeast of Dallas. I guess this is another one of those stories about where Texas failed another child. I might have to come back to this. I might have to do a number 2 on this. We're going to, okay, let me just see where I left it. We're going to come back and we will do the Jesse Pickles story starting in number 2, okay? I think, myself and Sprinkle are going to come back tonight and continue our discussion on the Gabby Petito lawsuit that's going to go before the Utah Supreme Court. I just need to get with her and figure out what time she could come live. I just wanted to jump on here and talk about this today because I was so upset this morning when I saw this and realized, the grandparents down the road, but they're not doing anything about it. The aunts and uncles know this is going, but they don't do anything about it. They don't say a word. Oh, well, that's not my child. I don't really care, right? I mean, that's what you see going on here anyway. Thank you for coming in. Woman's Warrior, anytime you feel like you're ready or you want to come up, just let me know. I know you're busy and you have a lot of things going on, and I know you're a whole ocean across from us. I know that too. So I'm going to get off of here. We'll just come back later, myself and Sprinkle, and do our Gabby Petito case. Thank you for listening. Thank you for stopping by. I always appreciate you guys. I have a contest that I'm going to do to give away this beautiful, look at it. I will ship it overseas if I need to. This beautiful brand new Dooney and Bourke handbag. We're going to do a little contest and we're going to give it away. Yeah, they all need charges. The whole family. If you see it, you know what's going on, and you don't say anything, you should be in trouble too. It should be a felony. It should absolutely be a felony, 100%. Anyway, good night. God bless. Thank you so much, girl. You take care of yourself out there. And as I always say, be safe, be careful, and go hug your babies. You know, life is short, and it's even shorter with your children. Don't let things happen to your babies. See you later, guys. We'll come back later. Thank you.